Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the Impact review for the 12th of, I'm sorry, the 13th of January 19 and yeah 19 no 2022 1922. That'd be a long time ago. Anyway, Black Taurus defeats Matt Reinwald on BTI. Not a fan of the BTI concept, as I said before. The opening video plays a full recap of Hard to Kill. Right after the video, we see W. Morrissey storm the arena looking for the world champion Moose and heading up to the ring to call him out. Morrissey claims that at Hard to Kill he had Moose pinned for 10 count. He then said Moose calls himself the best champion while walking around with the title he stole. Morrissey called him out to face him man to man and won't stop stalking him until they go face to face. Moose said that he will indeed defend the title tonight, but will give it to someone who has never had a title shot before. Backstage, Scott D'Amore confronted Morrissey and told him that Moose is indeed having a title match against someone else. Morrissey made his case, but D'Amore told him that there won't be interference tonight. Suddenly, D'Amore is interrupted because ROH's Matt Taven and Vincent takes over the commentary headsets. D'Lo tried to make a stand, but was taken out by Vincent and Mike Bennett, and then they took a senton by PCO. The table didn't break, and they did it again. Far worse result for Brown. Security and referees take out D'Lo Brown. Back from the commercial break, Tom Hansen informed Brown is being checked on by medics and he'll be running solo for now. Laredo Kid defeating Chris Bay. These two have been kind of going back and forth for a little while. Bay starts with some offense, but is quickly turned around by Kid with some strikes, dodging a bunch of Bay's offense and then hitting a crossbody. Bay then recovers and delivered a moonsault of his own before heading back to the ring. Bay then continued working over Kid in the ring, with the latter attempting comebacks only to get cut off by Bay again. Eventually they fight off the apron when Kid went for a backdrop but then dropped him off the ropes instead of making Bay bounce back and hit a higher fall. Kid follows with a tope. Then back in the ring, Kid goes for the bottom rope moonsault. Second row moonsault, but only gets 2 count. Then they trade strikes in the middle of the ring, but then Laredo Kid follows up. Bay turns around, catching him with a spinebuster and a backbreaker for a big near fall. Bay connects him with the spin kick, but Kid comes back with a Superman punch and hits an enziguri and top rope Laredo fly to win a decent enough match. Backstage, Rich Swann, Willie Mack, and Heath and Rhino and Edwards all talked about the ROH group and decided to split up and go find them. New installment of Brian Myers teaching VSK and Ziggy Dice. He berates them for embarrassing him while he's away. Dice said that he was Moose's challenger tonight, so he could get himself a giant pizza, carb load. Speedball Mike Bailey defeats Jake Something. Ace Austin and Madman Fulton join on commentary for the match. Both of the competitors in the match lost against Bailey and Something, respectively, at Hard to Kill. Speed versus power match, and Bailey is good at kind of the hit and move. As soon as Something gets a hold of him, though, it doesn't go nearly as well. Bailey had to slam against him to hurt him. They go outside the ring. Bailey gets his way. Something goes for a springboard moonsault back in the ring. Bailey manages a bunch of kicks and standing Torito. Something then blocked a kick, but Bailey brings down Something with a kick and finished him off with the Ultra Weapon. Short match, big win for Bailey. Backstage, Good Brothers and BBD talked things over. Carl Anderson broke off the alliance because he's not able to defeat the opponent. It's hard to kill. Eric Young told Anderson that they're not taking the blame for the loss, but they should stay together for the sake of the power. Suddenly they have Rhino and Heath have been taken out by the ROH group, so now they go to pick up the leftovers and beat up two a bit more. Gia Miller interviews Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green about being Unsuccessful in their matches Hard to Kill, she asked them how they're feeling and what's next for them. Cardona undersold himself, but Green said that both he and her, were really well and came really close to getting the win. Gia Miller interviews Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green about being um, unsuccessful and basically wastes a bunch of time with it. Tasha Steeles and Savannah Evans interrupted. They both talked trash to Green, saying that she had won because she's willing to do everything to win, while Green lived in her comfort zone. Steeles then talked trash about Cardona, so Green challenged her to a match next week. Masha Slamovich defeat Vet Vixen. Squash under Slamovich's belt. Very one-sided. Slamovich is walking to the back. Josh Alexander walks out, and they have a little stare down. Josh Alexander meets Charlie Haas. Alexander said that he finally overcame Maru Suzuki and Jonah, and that he was told he needed to control his emotions. By defeating those men, he proved he could do that. He then addresses Moose and says that he is the uncrowned champion until Moose defeats him. He then said Moose is out there giving matches but keeps avoiding Alexander. Suddenly, Charlie Haas interrupts Alexander. Haas introduces himself since this is indeed his debut. He told Alexander that he was an amazing wrestler and that they both are quite similar wrestlers, so they go straight to the point. He said that Alexander was a pinnacle of Impact and he wanted to test himself against him. Alexander accepted the challenge, but since his focus was on the world title, Haas stood in the way. He could just be another obstacle. And then they were separated by security when they went to get physical. Backstage, Knockouts champion Mickie James welcomed Roxy to Impact. Roxy said she hadn't approached her since things felt weird with all the ROH people going around making trouble. James told Roxy to be ready for Deanna Purrazzo because she's a vicious competitor and will stop at nothing to win. Impact World Champion Moose defeats Ziggy Dice with Brian Myers and BSK to retain the championship. Dice is granted the shot by D'Amore. Dice starts by attempting a Superman punch, but blocked, and he gets nailed with a Uranagi. Suddenly, Morrissey storms the ring, gets into a brawl with Moose, and Moose manages to escape. D'Amore joins the commentary from here. He clears up some of the questions about who is here representing ROH and who's here regaining matches outside of ROH premises. Raj Singh comes down to the ring and is now going solo. He cuts a promo about representing his people and suffering disrespect. He asks D'Amore for a challenge. Jonah defeats Raj Singh. What a goofy match that is. But anyway, one-sided deal there, as one would expect. Getting hit with a running senton and a Tsunami for the win. The Influence cuts promo on the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. The Inspiration. They hope they're having a good time enjoying their vacation from coming to work. They told them to prepare for January 27th when the Influence gets their title shot. The match was supposed to take place Hard to Kill, but was postponed due to COVID. DK walks up and issues challenge to the Influence for a match. In the meantime, suddenly Eddie Edwards had been taken out and needed help. Miller interviews ROH champion Jonathan Gresham and asked about the Rogue ROH group attacking people backstage. Gresham said that he had no connection to them and that he said before ROH's hiatus there was a war between what identity would ROH have going forward. He said the pure wrestling and honor won, not them. Steve McLean interrupted and said he can't just pretend he's not a part of ROH, and he can't just turn his back on his coworkers, claiming that they are dishonorable. Gresham wouldn't have his honor questioned and told McLean to meet him in the ring next week. He will have ROH management officially sanction it under pure rules with the title on the line. Next week, Tasha Steeles and Chelsea Green, Jonathan Gresham, and Steve McLean in a pure rules match for the title. Joe Doring and Doc Gallows versus Heath and Rhino, and Charlie Haas versus Josh Alexander. Feels like a much different area. Triple A Reina de Reyes champion Deanna Purrazzo with Matthew Reinwald defeats ROH Women's Champion Roxy. The winner take all match. Match is accepted. Purrazzo's appearance at the pay-per-view. They start off with both women measuring each other. Um, and then Purrazzo, finding out Roxy has the ability to counter and then reverse offense, forcing Purrazzo step outside the ring and regroup. Back from the ring, Roxy still hasn't had the upper hand, using her speed and advantage to outmaneuver Purrazzo and get some near falls. Roxy then goes for a top rope movement, but Purrazzo then drops her, snapping the arm on the ropes, and in the process, and managed to cut off Roxy. Purrazzo then starts to work over Roxy's arm, switching between kicking and a comeback, and striking Purrazzo with her good arm. Roxy gets herself some space and tricks Purrazzo into going shoulder first into the ring post. Finally able to maintain stronger comeback. Now Purrazzo is groggy. Roxy hits a side effect leg sweep in near fall transition, rocks into the Roxy lock, but the arm is too hurt to keep it on. Purrazzo then comes back, snapping Roxy's arm, running knee to the side, Russian leg sweep. Roxy then goes for the second, but Purrazzo blocks it, turns her over, locks on the Fujiwara armbar, only to have Roxy turn into the rock lock. Purrazzo then reaches for the ropes. Roxy rolls herself into the center of the ring, but momentum, Purrazzo reveals and rolls into the deal again. Roxy then grabs the hand of the referee and then manages to call the match before Purrazzo then goes further and locks into Venus de Milo to make Roxy verbally submit. Purrazzo is once again double champion. Really good match, way to close. After the match, Maria Kanellis Bennett gets in the ring and tells Purrazzo she will be taking those titles. The rest of ROH Rogues surround Purrazzo. Reinwald jumps in to defend her, but the numbers got the better of him. Rich Swann and Willie Mack run down to make the save, but also get laid out by the group, and they stand tall as they go off the air. Maybe this will lead to Ring of Honor being the new name of Impact, and it'll just be blended. Who knows? Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.